What's up, squad? Chris with NoLimitSquad, your personal Isochain and fitness vlogging channel. Today we're going to cover absolute strength and what that is and why it pertains to our Isochain training. But before that, we're going to cover a quick game of ISO know the answer to this question. Get it? ISO know the answer. Okay. All right. Here's our question. Bench press. Which angle produces the most gain with our triceps? Is it neutral? Is it wide? Or is it close? Comment down below and why. Let's have some fun with this. In the meantime, we're gonna bring it back to our subject today, which is absolute strength. Let's get into this. This is gonna be a fun one. All right, so learning about isometric strength and absolute strength. I first heard the absolute strength term in Paul Wade's isometric manual, and the best way for me, and honestly I believe us, to really understand the term absolute strength is just think of it as our static equivalent of 1 RM, 1 rep max. How much weight can we pick up, move, whatever, one time? And that takes every ounce of energy that we have to perform that movement. So for example, somebody's deadlift is 405 pounds, right? That they can only move 405 pounds once. They can't do sets of 5 reps. It's just one set of one. Feel me? That's 1 rep max. The static equivalent is called absolute strength. So let's take that same exercise, the deadlift, right? So now we're getting in position and we're ripping into it and we pull like a 420. That is our absolute strength. That is the maximum amount of force that our particular body can generate performing the deadlift. It won't go higher than that, at least for that day. Absolute strength can really only be measured by maximum force generated by our muscles, at least according to Hill's law. We're gonna cover that in a second. If your goal is to chase absolute strength, and there's a number of reasons why anyone would want to, isometrics is by far the superior choice. In fact, as far as scientific studies go, usually these scientists are gauging isometric strength anyway, as far as figuring out the maximum amount of force output a human body can generate. As far as absolute strength versus 1 rep max go, absolute strength will always be the higher number. Why? Like I said, let's go into Hill's law. In 1938, Archibald Hill, English physiologist and Nobel Prize winner, developed an equation that we know today as the force velocity relationship. All right, so here it is in parentheses, F plus A, parentheses V plus B equals C. F is the muscular force, V is the muscular contraction speed, velocity. A, B, and C are constants, pretty much mean that they're gonna be changing. In English, what that means, where muscle force is high, muscle contraction is low. Or the more force our muscles produce, the slower they move. Think about it. You ever picked up something heavy? Anything, it doesn't even have to be a weight, anything, right? The heavier that object is, the slower it's gonna be picking it up off the floor or wherever it's coming from. So it takes more effort to push or pull something that's of higher mass. So this is probably about 10 pounds roughly. So let's say I go 100% and try and move that, right? So this is not, it's only about 10, 15 pounds, whatever it is. I didn't weigh it, okay? Because of the mass of this object, I could still move it pretty quickly. If this was 100 pounds, it'd be a whole different story. Now it's a little slower. Can still move it, it's just it weighs more, right? And if you think about it, it really just makes sense scientifically and logically. That is why our 1 rep max will never exceed our absolute strength number. You may have seen that in your own Isochain training, whether you have an OG or the Dragon Door one and you hooked up a dynamometer to it on the OG, the number that you pull isometrically is going to be higher than what you can actually move in the weight room or at home or whatever. For example, a couple months ago, I pulled a 600 on the deadlift on the Isochain. I know I'm not doing that. One, the angle was a little high. It was a little high. It wasn't the true deadlift. If you haven't seen the video on the true deadlift, here's the link right here. Check that out, it's a pretty good one. It wasn't the true deadlift for one, so I was coming from a higher position versus the floor. Two, this is everything I got. The bar is not moving, all right? We have a little bit of loading reflex with the spring, but still, the bar is not moving. I know that I've only ever done 505. 515 is when I blew my back out the first time a couple years ago. So I know that my body at its best, at least up until now, has been able to move 505 once, and oh my God, that was hard, but it moved, okay? So if my deadlift was 505, then it makes sense that my deadlift isometrically, the static version, is higher. When it was in the 600, like I said, there's a factor involved where I was starting from a higher position. If I had done the true deadlift, I'm sure it'd be a lot lower, but the fact still remains, the static is always gonna be higher. Force velocity relationship. You do the bicep curl, my bicep curl number is right around 170 as of right now. It's been a slow gainer, very, very, very slow and painful gainer, but it has been going up slowly but steadily, literally like by 0.02 every, but it's going up at least. Here's the reason why I say that. I know I'm not bicep curl, easy bar bicep curl in 170. I know I'm not doing that. I know I'm not doing that. The most I've ever done on an easy curl, bicep curl, was 145. And oh my God, it felt like my forearm was gonna snap in half. Now I haven't done that in months. Actually, I should try that soon. Just to see, out of curiosity, I'd like to see where it is right now. Our point is this. If we aren't moving, the force is always going to be higher. If we're going 100% lifting something heavy, it's gonna be a slow movement. If we're going 100% lifting something light, it's gonna be quick. That way, now we all know as a squad the term absolute strength, because it will be coming up in very many a future video on the channel. If you found that information useful, in a couple seconds, the holy algorithm is going to suggest more No Limit Squad videos that you might find interesting. Click them, check them out, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.